vesaire daha en azından ürün uzunluğu yok. Onun yerine bir belli iki işleten kısmı var, büyük. Ve onun çevresinde gelişmiş büyük bir kent var. Ve bu kent hani bir polise dönüşmüşse bile fiziki.
Hello, welcome to my after school evening chat. In my older video, I talked about AI and niche. Then, about a week ago, I was watching a video essay from a small channel that I really support. I actually listened to it as I closed my eyes before I slept. His name is Wyatt Wilson, and the title of the video is Micro Niche Celebrities. He talked about how keeping up with your niche or your true interest could be a strategy to sustain your career. But there was a part that I really did screen record and that I would gladly show you. You know what? I think we're gonna watch this together on my computer instead, and I'd suggest you watch the whole video.
Because if you make everything for everyone, there's not much value in that. There's not much value in kind of being the person for everyone. But there's a lot of value in being able to break into a niche and being known for a niche. And so applying like the niche micro celebrity lens to everything that you're making and having this, you should be making things for people like you. And I think that's why I think niche micro celebrity is interesting, is because a lot of times these people who are niche micro celebrities are very like not trying to be famous. You know, they're just like posting content, they're putting out art, and they're like, it's so specific and so niche that it's interesting, and they get a quick following. Some examples of niche micro celebrities.
This video gave me a total fresh air and an answer for the self-doubt that I've had. Perhaps there was even a self-consciousness that was embedded deep inside me since I was a kid, and it's related to being an unconventionally intriguing person, or what we popularly know as niche. First of all, we heard the word niche everywhere. And according to the Cambridge Dictionary, it can mean a few things. As a noun, it means a job or position that's very suitable for someone, especially one that they like, or an area or position that's exactly suitable for a small group of the same type. As an adjective, it means interested to, aim to, or affecting only a small number of people. Many topics can bear this label, from sports to arts. So, from this understanding, we're going to be talking about interest in things that cater to very specific markets or communities. And in this video, we're not going to be gossiping about the ancient guys, as in my episodes of Rumors from the Ruins segment. By the way, if you like history, especially ancient history, do check them out. Anyways, let's put aside the academia. Today is for vulnerable and honest chat between me and you. I'll give you a look at the negative or hard thoughts that someone who chooses a non applied science as her higher education major might have for being different and sometimes thinking that she might be a mundane person, and how I deal with it. This will be about both personal life and career. So, what about me? What about studying ancient history, and what about being niche? The idea of bringing up a story of being different as a kid, like I've always been quirky, honestly sounds like an ick to me. But when it already happened to me as a child, I'll just tell you the honest reality. I know that many of you, my friends, may relate to this. But yeah, when I was younger, let's say we're gonna highlight the age of like 8 to 14, I've always had like different interests with my peers, and the kind of interests also evolved over time. For instance, when I was 8, I was kind of cornered because I didn't like that one cartoon that my whole school kept talking about. And then in fourth grade, I began to develop a certain taste of art. I like to listen to musics that weren't really popular according to the combination of my demographic background, which was country, region, social class, and ethnicity. As an indigenous girl who went to a bilingual state school in Indonesia, enjoying Western folk and old school 70s, 80s English songs that my dad likes to play in the car was apparently not a thing for kids my age. And then in fifth to sixth grade, only a few people in my class like to watch the series that I like. And while these shows might not be so niche for the American audience, it wasn't a big thing in my area. When my friends were playing Uno or some physical games and they were inviting me, I made it really clear that I wasn't interested in participating. And on a daily basis, I remember I would bring some social political books that I took from my dad's collection and read them on my desk during the recess. Did my 12-year-old brain completely understand the discussion of the book? You obviously know the answer. It was not like that. But I started to grow a really deep interest in global knowledge, sociology, some foreign policy and stuff, and my interest in history and the wider discipline of humanities was pretty much also influenced by that moment of my life. When the boys are playing video games and the girls gather to chat about the soap opera that they're really into, which was, by the way, an Indonesian Twilight from Temu. And yes, still grew up and realized it was a cringe show. Yeah, so anyway, when they gathered due to the similarity of interest, I couldn't. I'll also openly talk about the pick me face that every child might have. Been there, done that, baby. Yeah. Who's never been a little pick me anyway? Who thinks they're so cool? So, while having a shared interest community can be a fun way of connecting with others, I felt like having our niche interests starting to get more recognition from the wider public feels like losing a sense of individuality. For instance, to me, a song can lose its personal touch when it starts to be played in the shopping mall or cafes. In today's situation, it might be on TikTok. Doesn't mean that all of a sudden the lyrics or the substance of the art becomes less profound. It's the personal experience that decreases. And while it's still applicable to adults, the 10-year-old me wasn't very happy about that. It was maybe for the sake of feeling cool, but now that I'm a grown up who doesn't work on performative personalities anymore, I just feel this unease when our niche interests start to become less niche and the creators that we support start to become too relevant to everyone and less genuine and authentic. After graduating from primary school, I continued my education by being homeschooled. The situation facilitated my niche interest even more. But at some point of my life, I was worried if being a niche person, if that makes sense, wouldn't make my life easier when it's already not. I was afraid that I won't be able to make friends or having a successful career. And I talk about it one by one. First of all, the fear of not finding the friendship for me. I did notice that I couldn't always fit in. I think my mom's take on this really contributed to this feeling. For example, when I wasn't interested in getting along in a conversation with my peers, she would force me to fit in so that I wouldn't look arrogant. And to be honest, I don't blame her. She's a Gen X, an Asian mom, and they don't want to look impolite to others. People pleasing culture is very strong here, but it shaped the way I saw myself as not good enough in the society because I can't relate to most people. It's simply that I don't think their interests are fun and the other way around. And I thought maybe I'm so boring. I won't have friends. Until today, I keep my circle really small. I hang out with my housemate at the dining table, if not video calling my best friend back home because I'm living abroad. I occasionally hang out with my friends in town at the cafes or at school. When you were a kid, you were taught to be nice and be friends with everyone. While that might be intended to prevent discriminating other kids, I think, realistically speaking, at the end of the day, we gotta be really selective and curate our people and the people who would grow together with us, but also liking us the way we are. I reflected on my situation, and I think after all, it's not that I'm a boring person. I have some friends groups where they like to have me around, where I crack some really good jokes, and it's safe to say the chemistry that were built between me and my friends were natural simply because I typically do not have the energy to force such things. It's also not that they consider me socially awkward. They actually see me as cool, and I see them as cool, so we're cool with each other. There are many points of my life where I hang out with the popular kids or um, the conventionally cool kids. It's just that when they talk about certain things that I don't follow because I choose to allocate my time for the topics that I'm really invested in, I just withdraw. Not from the friendship, but from the conversation, those particular conversations. And that's okay. You don't need to feel like you're missing out or left out. Most of my friends now are the type of people who would be updated on the latest pop culture issues and they're more extroverted than me. And does it make them less cool just because they're the same as many people? No. I mean, those cultures became popular for a reason. Literally, it's okay to be ordinary, and life has too many checklists to complete other than forcing yourself to be something that you're not. Like, grow up. Who cares? Seriously, do and be what works for you. What I seek to emphasize is simply the bright side of being niche. There are good things behind not being able to relate to many people and having your own thing. And I would like to encourage you to free yourself and allow yourself to read unpopular books, commence or get engaged in niche discourses, study the artistic film, support small creators who set their own standards and style, and get yourself invested in niche topics within your personal curriculum. So, going back to Wyatt Wilson's video, he talks about being niche as a creator or artist, which now leads us to the topic of career. Having niche interests is like a double-edged sword. You either will take a degree with large job market with many competitors that can replace you anytime if you don't upgrade yourself, or you will take that niche topic for your education background with really small job market, very selective, even if you're an academic doctor. But also, you're going to be one among little to no other people in that specific area. Either ways, you're going to be creative to find and make opportunity for yourself. Choose your struggle. And in my case, developing niche interests since my teenage years helped me navigate my future studies, in which I'd like to pursue a career in this lane. I've known what I wanted very early. Honestly, it's a privilege to be able to say that I'm studying something for the sake of the knowledge itself and not because I need to enter the easiest job market possible. And even as an undergrad, the professors used to adopt my ability to write the research that I ended completing very excellently because I've always chosen a different path than the other. As you know, my fate will fall on the second case. And I'm not really worrying about the many competitors, but about the existence of the job market itself. I mean, who wants to read my work or hear my lecture about the Ottoman Jewry and its intersectionality or about the Anatolian church in the first century? I don't know, probably not many, especially because it's not about what? About warfare, World War, one of the most mansplainable topic in the history. But there are many people who are like me as well, maybe smaller in percentage, but there are people like that. and I will serve to create something in my career, whether it's digital content creation, projects, exhibitions, or courses. For these people, they are my communities, and it's enough motivation to keep building and creating things by heart. I used to be a child published author, and my novel was published in the largest bookstore in Indonesia. One thing that I'm so grateful for is that I trusted myself to write something that I didn't even know people would like. If it looked bizarre or absurd, because adults said my stories were absurd, but among the Indonesian kids and teenage market, I had many fans who enjoyed my stories. And when I chose my major, there were people who asked, why are you not going to the medical school or applied science? And I simply wasn't adopting my choice because, other than healing the body, I think within the society, we need experts to heal our intellect. And I'm pursuing my way to be one of them. Or before I started my YouTube channel, there were people who suggested me make short form contents about my interest, but it's supposed to be visually engaging with just light talks that decipher topics that's already basic so that everyone will be interested, and that I have to feed their damaged attention span like 3 to 5 minutes. I mean, if you're an adult, that's not a good sign. You're not a child with 15 minutes attention span. If it's the case, then you need self improvement. I'm sorry. In creating my thought products, I will adjust, try new things, be creative, and do the best that I could. But if I were to be doing something that's not making me feel content intellectually and spiritually, it lacks the value and becomes less intentional. Then, apart from self fulfillment, at the end of the day, there are many other content creators who would just replace me because I'll be just exactly the same as the other people and I will be forgotten in a blink of an eye. With the major that I'm continuing right now, I used to work in the sector that is exactly linear. I worked as a museum project assistant, so it was like my junior level career where I did research for a museum exhibition, and I got this job before I graduated actually. um, I don't know what the future holds for me as I'm focusing on my master's degree now, but I will find out once I keep following where my heart goes. Anyways, that's it for the after school talk this evening. I'm wishing you a whimsical and blooming spring. See you on my next video.